So I've been revisiting mounts a little bit recently, mounts for joysticks, and I really haven't done a whole lot with mounting stuff because there's a lot of good solutions already out there and everybody's situation is different. But one of my earlier ones that I'd done was something like this. This is for a Joy-Con sort of stick, and it uses a quarter 20 insert so that it could be mounted to any sort of standard quarter 20 mount. Um, and it worked out fine. It's a little bulky in its height because it has to take into account that. But recently, I had a user ask about stabilizing a palm stick. So in some cases, the stick could move around a little bit too much and needed a better way to stabilize it. I did have a mount similar to this for that, but I decided to revisit it. So what I did is I had this one that I had prototyped a while ago, and the idea is that it pops into there like that, and then you'd have a USB cable there with some holes there to put a zip tie. Now the problem is this is still relatively light, so it needed some weights. One of the things I was thinking of is having some spaces in the bottom to put some weights, but from a print setup, this ended up being a big trial because I have to use supports here, and you could see the supports basically fuse themselves to the bottom of the unit, so that wasn't going to work out too great. So I took the idea and I said, well, all my rest of my enclosures are kind of sliced into a top and bottom part. Why don't I do something like that here? Why don't I slice off part of it? And the end result is this unit here, and it has a perfectly flat bottom, so I'll put some non-slip material here, and the parts come apart like that. So you take the stick and you drop it in place, and you plop that there. And so when you end up having like a USB cable, let's plug the USB cable in. USB cable gets plugged in, and you plop it like that, and it's got a pretty good form factor. It's holding that USB cable a little bit more securely. And as you've probably already noticed, there are now weights. These are steel weights. These originally are for balancing wheels on a car. So they're little half-ounce weights. So this is 2.5 ounces of additional weight, which you don't think is much, but it does give a really good feel and heft to it, especially when you add the joystick itself. I can't put weights inside the joystick because there's just no room. I've looked at that before, but there's just no room, and I don't want to make the sticks much bigger than they are. And then to hold the top and bottom parts together, you could see these little silver things. Those are 4 magnets. So those magnets hold it in place, so it's easy to take out. It holds upside down, but I'm actually surprised I hadn't tried this before, but it actually holds the whole thing upside down. And it's got that nice matte surface that the new 3D bed has. So I think I'm going to be going with this one to start with. It doesn't really make the unit that much bigger. It adds some distance to the top and bottom, mainly to fit the weights and to support the USB connection. But I think this is going to go into production very soon. Thanks for watching.